find just the right place for you at this moment so that your child's pose is comfortable and to a certain degree restful. So allow those props to support you if you're using them. Allow the floor to hold you also. And your arms could be out in front of you, or I find, especially when I'm wearing a microphone, that it's better for me to bend my elbows, grab opposite elbows, and then rest the forehead on those forearms. That might be something that works for you too. Just see where you're at. And then once you arrive, nothing else to do other than breathe. But we're breathing with intention, so we're feeling that breath. We might make it a little deeper, a little longer, so slowing it down. And in this child's pose, folding over the front of the body, you might be able to hear that breath. So don't be afraid to make that breath audible. And then as you arrive here, allowing for some softness around your eyes, some softness in your jaw. Yeah, maybe taking a moment just to acknowledge that you made time and space to practice today. And it will be whatever it is, but nothing's going to take away from the fact that you made a decision and you make things come together, not on your own, with the support of others, to come to the mat and practice. So let's take about 3 to 5 more breaths. And see if you can be a bit more intentional about breathing into that back body. So use your next inhale to find a bit more space between those back ribs, the mid back, maybe a bit more space in that upper back. And then on your exhale, you're beginning to tone that lower belly, drawing it towards the spine. And find 2 more breaths like that, breathing into that back body, getting that extra stretch, extra space. And then toning through that lower belly on your exhale, pushing the air out of the nose if that's available. And taking 1 more inhale and exhale. And then with your next inhale, let's bring those hands in front of us if they're not there already. So reach them and now lift your elbows and your palms. So you're just walking your fingers forward as if you were clawing on the mat, and then your sit bones is sinking down. So there's that little extra stretch through that side body, through your arms. And then walk your hands to the right and bring your left hand just over that right hand and sink your left sit bone down. So now side body stretch for this left side. Breathing in and breathing out. Use your inhale to walk those hands through center all the way to the left. And now your right hand just lands over that left hand. And you press your right sit bone down, and that right side gets now a nice stretch. Use your inhale to even stretch further. And then let it go as you exhale. And now inhale, those hands come in front of you. Bring them a little closer to you and make your way into a table pose. So realign your knees with your hips. Your shins are reaching out behind you. Your toes are reaching out behind you too, and your fingers in front of you. And then begin to move that spine in some cows and cats, bringing your chest forward as you breathe in, lifting your gaze. And then as you breathe out, rounding the spine and dropping the head. And then doing this again, inhale, coming forward. And then as you round on your exhale, send your sit bones towards your heels as if you were coming back into that child's pose. But then use your inhale to come back up into cow, bringing chest forward, gaze up. And then again into cat, and then into that child's pose, sit bones towards heels. And again, inhale coming up, cow pose. Exhale, rounding, and sit bones towards heels. And then one more time, inhale, and exhale. Now coming back into your child's pose, maybe broadening your knees a bit. And this time with your next inhale, send your left arm up and then lift your torso. So your left hand is coming behind you. See if you can plant it on the mat and then reach your right arm by your ear and up. And then you could stay here, or with your next inhale, see if you can lift your hips. So you're pushing the floor away with your bottom hand, with your shins, finding a bit more space in that right side and chest. And then come back, sit bones towards the heels if they were lifted. And then your right hand is going to reach forward, plant your forearm, and then your left hand is going to reach away, all the way forward towards the top of the mat. So your right hand is closer to you than your left hand, and see if you can feel a stretch through the left side of the body. Breath in and breath out. And let's do that movement a couple more times. So as you inhale, lift that left arm, sit bones still towards the heels, left hand plants, and then your right hand reaches up, and maybe your hips lift. And then as you exhale, hips lower, your right hand comes to the mat in front of you, and then your left one swims forward and reaches a little further. And then one more time, inhale, left hand reaches over, plants, right hand reaches up, maybe your hips lift. So your gaze could be down to the side. And then planting those sit bones, right hand reaches forward, reach through those left fingers a little further. And now pause here for a breath in and a breath out. And then from here, find a bit more space under that right arm and see if you can thread your left arm under the right. So threading the needle, but you're still in your child's pose with your hips. And then your left shoulder can come to the mat, maybe your head too. Breath in and breath out. Of course, if it doesn't work here, you could do this from table pose, just like we've done other times. Take another inhale and exhale. And then unthread, plant your hands, come back into your table pose. So realign those knees once again with your hips. And then as you inhale, come into cow, chest forward, gaze up. Exhale, round into cat, dropping that head. And then again, inhale, exhale. And one more, inhale. And now on your exhale, round and return towards your child's pose. So again, you might broaden those knees if that felt good. And we're going to do the same thing now with the right side. Okay, so when you're ready, press down through that left hand and lift your right arm up. And then take it behind you. Now it's your left hand that comes up towards the ceiling. And maybe you lift the hips if that feels good. And then we'll lower those hips. Bring that arm in front of you. You can plant your forearm, and then it's your right hand that's going to reach forward, as far forward as you can. And then do that again. Inhale, right arm lifts. We'll plant it behind us. We'll lift through the left, maybe hips lift. You get that back bend. Exhale, come forward, and your right hand reaches forward. One more time like that. Inhale. And exhale. And then from here, pause, take a breath in. Feel that length through the right side of the body. Breath out. And then if your left forearm is on the mat, lift it off the mat. And if you've got the space, bring that right arm through. Finding that thread the needle position, shoulder towards the mat, head towards the mat. You could also walk your left fingers forward a bit if you wish here. So you're not only getting the stretch through the right shoulder blade, but maybe extra stretch through the left armpit. Breath in and breath out. And then as you inhale, we'll return. And let's make our way back into table pose, realigning those knees, hands under shoulders. Spread your fingers as best you can here, and then press through your fingerprints. Press through the base of the fingers, and then press through thumb side and pinky side. And as you do that, see if you can broaden that upper back. Then take a full breath in, and we're going to go for some side stretches. Drop your hips towards the right and look over towards your left heel. And bring yourself back through center and to your other side. Exhale. And then back through center. And again, switching sides. And center. And other side. And then with your next inhale, bring yourself through center. Tuck those toes. And let's lift those hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So once you get to down dog, you could move a bit. If that's what you need, you could also find stillness. Maybe you'll let the head dangle. Maybe you look a bit from side to side, relaxing that neck. And after that back bending and all that movement, and maybe it was kind of new movement or movement that we don't do usually, you might use here even more your down dog to find that neutral spine. To find some space between vertebrae, pushing the sit bones open back, bringing weight into your heels so you're lengthening the back of the legs. And then using your hands to push the floor away. But don't let your shoulders cram up by your ears, so there's space between ears and shoulders. Breath in and breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. And now on your inhale, walk your hands towards your feet and do it slow. Notice the weight coming from the hands more into the legs. Your heels plant. And then once your hands get towards your feet, grab opposite elbows and allow yourself to hang here in a forward fold. Bend in the knees, always a good thing if those hamstrings are tight. It will allow you to lift the sit bones a little bit more towards the ceiling. Upper body is relaxed right now. Take another inhale and exhale. And then release those elbows, and on your inhale, hands to your shins. Look for a neutral spine, halfway lift. Crown of the head is reaching forward. And then as you exhale, take that length and fold. And do that again. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale as you fold. And one more. Inhale, half lift. And exhale to fold. And now with your next inhale, bend your knees. Chin tucks towards your chest. Maybe your hands come to your hips. And we're slowly unrolling the spine to come all the way up to stand. Shoulders come straight over the hips. Maybe you give them a roll, and then your arms down by your side, crown of the head reaching tall. Feel your feet on the mat and push the mat away. With your next inhale, reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, interlace your fingers, turn the palms towards the ceiling, push those palms away, breath in. And on your exhale, see if you can come into a side stretch, still with your fingers interlaced. So pushing those palms now towards the right. Left side gets a stretch, press down through the left foot. Inhale back through center. Keep the hands as they are. And to your other side, right foot presses down. Inhale back through center. And now arms wide and bring them to your lower back. Interlace them once again, and then straighten out those elbows, open up the chest. Feel the shoulder blades come close together. Inhale. And on your exhale, keep your knuckles close to your lower back. Find a forward fold. Your knees can bend. And then once you've got your forward fold, maybe those knuckles reach up. Maybe they drop overhead. Breath in and out. Now releasing those hands, bringing them to the mat and walking your hands all the way forward into a plank pose. Taking a full breath in at the top. And then on your exhale, let's lower the knees. Let's lift those feet and cross your ankles. And then find some tension. So those feet are kind of reaching away from you. Take a full breath in. And on your exhale, see if you can find a bend in your elbows, kind of halfway. And then as you inhale, straighten those elbows, push yourself up. And then exhale again, bend into those elbows. One more time, inhale. And now on your exhale, bend into those elbows and see if you can get your chest down and then your belly. And then hands staying under shoulders, release your feet, press the tops of the feet into the mat and inhale into gentle little cobra. So gaze down, don't try to go too high. And then exhale, lower. And again, inhale, cobra, using your legs. Exhale, lower. One more time, inhale, cobra. And now on your exhale, push yourself back, downward facing dog. Breath in and breath out. One more, breath in and out. From your downward facing dog, right leg will rise. And as you exhale, bend that knee and find some circles with your right knee. And if for doing these circles, being in down dog is a bit too intense, feel free to come into a table pose and do those circles in table. And then switch direction. And then as you inhale, let's straighten that leg out. And on the exhale, we'll plant it between the hands. So it could be a few steps. Get it up there. Once it's between your hands, blocks under hands can be helpful. We're going into a drop-in. We're going to drop the hips, bring the chest forward on the inhale. Maybe lift the gaze. And then on your exhale, straighten that front leg, sending your hips back. And do that again. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And back, exhale. Now with your next inhale, bend into that front knee, lower that back knee to the mat. Left hand stays down and right hand comes to your right thigh. You could stay like this, or you could push the thigh away, turn the belly button towards that right thigh, towards the right side, and find more of a twist with your hand on your thigh or your hand up towards the ceiling. Use your bottom hand to push the floor away, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, lower that right hand back to frame that front foot and step it back into downward facing dog. Full breath in and full breath out. Let's go for the left side. So again, from down dog or from table. Inhale, left leg rises. And on your exhale, bend that knee and find your circles. And then switch direction. And then as you inhale, straighten that leg out. And on your exhale, step it forward. And it's coming between the hands to find that low lunge. On the inhale, dropping hips and lifting chest, maybe lifting gaze. On the exhale, hips back, straightening front leg. And then again, inhale to come forward. Exhale, moving back. And inhale forward. and exhale back. And now as you inhale, bend into that front knee, drop the back knee, right hand stays down, left hand can come to your thigh, push the thigh away, turn towards your left, you're finding that twist. And if you can keep that twist, that arm reaches up towards the ceiling. There's a lot of times when we use the hand, we're really relying on that hand to twist. But to keep that twist, you have to use that core. If you're not using the hand, right? Breath in. And breath out. Push the floor away with the bottom hand. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, lower that left hand, framing that front foot. Tuck the back toes, knee lifts, and downward facing dog. And now from down dog, take a full breath in. On your exhale, look under your right shoulder or right armpit. And then bring the head back through center. And then look over your left armpit. And bring that head back through center. And now look forward towards your fingertips. And then on your exhale, look towards your belly. And then inhale, walk your feet forward. And we'll find a forward fold, top of the mat. Take opposite elbows, a bend in those knees. 3 breaths right here. And then see if you can keep opposite elbows, so this position with your arms. And now find a deep bend in your knees, coming into your chair pose. And then begin to lift your torso, keeping your hands on your elbows. And see if you can lift those forearms overhead. Shoulders away from ears as best you can. And your hands are kind of holding those elbows. And the elbows are trying to move away from one another. Take a full breath in. And full breath out. And then push the floor away, straighten legs, reach your arms up. And on your exhale, left arm down, side stretch. Come back through center, inhale. And other side, exhale. Back through center, inhale. Bring those hands behind you. And now find the interlace that feels awkward. And then send those knuckles down. Open the chest. Once again, shoulder blades are coming towards one another. Feel that opening through fronts of shoulders. Take a breath. And then as you exhale, forward fold. So a slight bend in those knees. Hinge through the hips. Hands first at lower back. And then maybe up or maybe over. Breath in. Breath out. And now releasing those hands halfway, lift on the inhale. And as you exhale, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Now trying to keep your chest moving towards your thighs with your next inhale, lift your heels. Keep sending that chest towards the thighs. Take another inhale. Heels are still lifted. And now on your exhale, lower your knees and come into a table pose. And once you're in your table pose, realign those hands with your shoulders, those knees with your hips. You can untuck your toes as that feels better. And let's move now into a cow and cat on the inhale. And exhale. And let's take 2 more. See if you can emphasize your cat poses, pushing the floor away, making space in the back ribs, mid-back, lower back. And if you drop the head or chin to chest, finding some space in the back of the neck. And then we'll find a neutral spine. And from here, let's work a bit with that outer hip, outer thigh. So when you're ready, your right knee is going to open to the side as you inhale. And then on your exhale, lower. And inhale, open. And exhale, lower. And now on your inhale, open. And see if you can straighten that leg out. Exhale. Keep it lifted. Inhale. And on your exhale, lower. and plant. Toes are facing forward. With your next inhale, right arm reaches out and then up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, thread that arm and reach to your left. And again, inhale, open. Exhale, thread. And inhale, open. And exhale, thread. Now on your inhale, open. And as you exhale, reach your right hand forward, as far forward as you can. And you might come onto your left forearm. Keep reaching those fingers forward, but your hips are not moving. They're staying right over, left hip right over that left knee. And you're active through your right leg, which is extended to the side. Take another inhale. And exhale. And now bring your hands to meet somewhere in between. So that left hand might go a little forward and the right hand is going to come in. And then we're going to move the hips forward and back. So on your inhale, bring them forward. And then as you exhale, send that left sit bone towards that left heel. Right leg is still extended out. And then again, inhale, coming forward. And exhale, send it back. And inhale forward. And exhale back. And now as you inhale, we're coming forward. Bring now the hands under shoulders. Spread those fingers. We're going to activate through outer hip. Take an inhale, lift that right leg. And then as you exhale, send it behind you. And now cross it over to the left. Okay, so plant the ball of the foot, push the heel away. Inner thighs draw towards one another. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. And another inhale. And now as you exhale, bend your right knee. It's coming behind the left knee. You could move your feet apart a bit more if you want, or if that's available. And then your hips are going to go forward and back. So lowering those sit bones towards your heels on your exhale, bringing them up on the inhale. And then the next time that your sit bones are down, see if you can pause there for a moment. Breath in and breath out. One more. And now as you inhale, come back up and then unwind those legs and return to your table pose. Okay? And then just walk your knees here. So as you shift your hips from side to side, lift the opposite knee. So if your hips are going to the right, lift your left knee. If they're going to the left, lift the right knee. Just giving the knees a little break too. We've been on them quite a bit. And your head could also kind of hang here, going a bit from side to side. Another breath in. And breath out. And now bringing yourself back through center. And we're going to work on the left side. So when you're ready, find that outer left hip. Keep the knee bent and lift. So you're lifting through the knee. Try not to lift through the ankle or anything like that. And then exhale, lower. And then again, lift, inhale. Exhale, lower. And lift, inhale. Exhale, lower. And now with your next inhale, we're lifting and we're straightening that leg out. So it helps me to have my foot flexed, but see how it works for you. Take another breath in, push the floor away with both hands. And then on the exhale, lower that left foot. More or less aligning the arch of that left foot with the right knee. Okay? And then from here, that left arm is going to open on the inhale. And thread under the right as we exhale. And again, inhale. Exhale. And open, inhale. and thread, exhale. And now as you inhale, open, and then reach that left hand forward. Actually, yes, lift it, reach it forward, and then you can come onto that right forearm. Getting now that good stretch through the left side. Allowing the head to hang here, but you're still active through that left leg, and your hips are still in line. Breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. And then bring that left hand in. Both hands now to the mat. Once again, we're going forward and back. So your hands might be a little forward, so you've got some space to go forward. Inhale and exhale. Right sit bone towards right heel. And a few more times with your own breath. And then let's return to the top. So now hands more or less on the shoulders. Engage through that outer hip. We're going to now lift that left leg. So inhale. And then on your exhale, send it behind you. Toes are pointing down. And then cross it over outside of the right. Toes are tucked. Ball of the foot is planted. And we're just pushing the heel away right now. Don't let your left hip lift. So tuck it in underneath you, and that will bring those thighs, those inner thighs a little closer, will level out your hips. Might give you a bit more stretch through that outer hip too. Breath in, breath out. One more inhale, and then as you exhale, bend into your left knee. Maybe here widen your feet. Knees are still one behind the other, and then shift your hips down. And use your inhale to bring them up. And exhale and back. And with your breath, inhale forward. Exhale back. And again. And then the next time that your hips are back and down, you could pause there. Might notice differences between sides. Take it to wherever works for you today, taking into account your body, how you're feeling today. Another breath in. And breath out. And then as you inhale, we'll rise, coming back into that table pose, unwinding those legs. And then just taking a moment again to shift the hips from side to side. You could also come onto your forearms if your hands and wrists are a little tired, and you could do kind of that movement a bit here, or some cows and cats. I always find that the neck gets kind of stiff for me. So just a reminder to move that too. Look from side to side, chin to chest. Those are some nice movements to release any extra tension. One more inhale wherever you are. And exhale. And then let's meet back in that table pose. Let's tuck those toes, and we'll make our way into downward facing dog. Once again, pushing the floor away with the hands, sending weight into those heels, and then lifting those sit bones a little higher. And notice if this down dog right now feels a little different from the first one you did today. Maybe a little freer. Take another inhale. And exhale. And then as you inhale, walk your hands again towards your feet. And then let's send those toes out, heels in, and we'll come down into a squat. And remember, in your squat, sometimes the whole foot is not on the ground, so you're kind of balancing a bit. So it's cool if you want to be on the balls of the feet and your hands could be on the mat, or you could try adding in that balance component. But you can also roll your mat or bring a pillow under those heels so that you feel a bit more supported. See if you can get your elbows to the insides of your knees, and then use your elbows to push those knees wide and back. And then try and lift the spine. Crown of the head lifting up towards the ceiling. Tailbone dropping towards the floor. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. And then see if you can stay in this squat, but then lower your hands to the mat and turn them. So your palms are going to be facing up and your fingers facing towards you. Tops of the hands towards the mat. And wrists moving down and away from you. So you give your wrists a counter stretch from those table poses. Breath in and breath out. Keep broadening the knees. Take another inhale and exhale. And then return to your hands. And now see if you can stay in that squat, but your hands are going to plant in front of you. And then we're just going to lift and lower those heels and move those hips forward and back. So as you come forward, it's almost like you're bringing weight into those hands. And then as you go back, you've got more weight into your heels. And do that again. Inhale forward. Exhale back. The next time that you come forward, maybe pause there. Feel your knees going towards your upper arms. Maybe you come onto those tiptoes. Take another inhale. And then as you exhale, return those heels down. And then from here, push through the feet, reach your arms all the way up, and we're going to straighten legs, rising all the way up to stand. And then turn your toes to face forward, and on the exhale, side stretch, right arm down. Inhale, bring yourself back up. Exhale, other side. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, walking your hands forward, come all the way into plank. Exhale, lower your knees. Knees are behind the hips. Lift your feet and now cross your ankles the opposite way you did before. And then again, some resistance here, so your feet are kind of reaching away from you. Draw the belly towards the spine, broaden that upper back. Push the floor away, breath in. Exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And now on your exhale, bend, lowering torso, and then belly to the mat. And then this time, because we've done a bit of back bending and the spine might be kind of open to it, bring your hands towards the upper corners of your mat. Okay, so it's kind of not like your cobras with your hands close to your shoulders. They're kind of out there in front of you. Your legs are going to be engaged, so press through the tops of the feet, press through your hips and your thighs. And then from here, push through your hands and see if you can lift that chest. So you're working towards straightening your arms here. Engage glutes, so you're protecting lower back. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out, belly to spine. Another inhale, push the floor away. And then on your exhale, gently release that torso down. Bring the forearms in front of you and rest your forehead on those forearms. Now relax your legs, heels out. Maybe shift your hips from side to side. Inhale. And exhale. Now use the mat and the floor as reference for your next inhale. So allow that belly, that rib cage to expand towards the mat. Notice the resistance and then the stop. It can't expand any further. And then if you've still got to inhale, see if you can then direct that expansion to the back body. And then as you exhale, draw the belly towards the spine and feel some space in that lower back. And let's find that breath once again. So again, use that inhale, expand that front body, notice the pressure, and then transfer that expansion to the back body. And then on the exhale, release and draw the belly towards the spine. One more. Breath in. And then breath out. And then from here, bring your right arm out into a T. Palm is facing down. Now you're turning your gaze towards the left. Plant your left fingertips, elbow towards the ceiling, and then roll onto that right side of the body. So here, maybe stacking one leg over the other. Sometimes bending the knees will give you a bit more stability. Or bending that top knee, opening the knee towards the ceiling, and then that left foot can drop to the floor. Okay? Head is resting on the ground. You're looking towards the left. So the more you open that front of the body towards the left, the more stretch through that right shoulder. And it can be quite intense, this weight on it, this floor underneath it. So take it gentle. Don't take it too far. And you can gauge, how much weight you put into that shoulder. Breathing in and breathing out. On your inhale, return to the belly, and we'll switch sides. So that left arm now comes out into a T. Your right hand comes in, you're turning your gaze towards the right, and then you're rolling onto the right side of the body. And once again, see what's available with your legs. You could stack them, knees could bend. You could bend the top knee and plant the foot. To do that, that requires, that hip opening. Okay, so if it's not available today, don't worry. Just bring that knee down and bend both knees. And once again, take it to where you need it on this side, which might be different or quite different from the other side. And taking another breath in and breath out. And then bringing yourself back onto the belly. And then bringing those hands under shoulders and making your way back into a child's pose. And you could choose knees together here if you think you need a bit more space in that back body. And if you do, you could also try and bring the forehead really close to your knees. And if your shoulders need a little break, you could also bring arms by your side and drop the fronts of the shoulders towards the mat as your palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Take about 5 cycles of breath. Once again, directing the breath wherever you need it in the body. And with that meaning, that expansion, that stretch when you breathe in. And in this case now, more of a release of tension and a softening when you breathe out. And taking one more inhale. One more exhale. And then with your next inhale, begin to lift your spine and see if you can come onto your knees. And it's just for a moment. As you come onto your knees, now send your feet, just off to the side. And now see if you can lower your sit bones all the way down to the floor without using your hands. And then bring those feet in front of you. So you're finding a seat. And then once you've found your seat, bring the soles of the feet together, bring your hands around your ankles, and then walk your sit bones a little closer to your heels. And then allow the soles of the feet to open up a bit towards the ceiling, so you're pressing through the pinky toe side. You're allowing the big toe side just to flop open as gravity kind of pulls your knees down towards the ground. And then see if you can lift your spine, shoulders down, crown of the head reaching up. Don't worry about folding. We're going to lengthen. Front of the body and back body. Full breath in. And full breath out. And then as you inhale, bring those knees back up. Plant your feet, bring those arms in front of you. Take a full breath in. Press through the toes halfway down. Exhale. Keep your toes pressing down, shoulders down away from your ears. Take another inhale. And then exhale all the way down onto the mat. And then once your head rests on the mat, take a breath in. And allow your exhale just to drop out of the mouth. And maybe embrace a kind of sense of relief. Whole spine, the whole body is held by the earth right now. So we don't have to lift off, away, hold ourselves up. And then let's bring that right knee into the chest and hug it in. Your hands could be around your shin or behind that knee. And then you could stay with your left knee bent or push out through that left heel, push, 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 hover that leg over the mat, and then allow the heel to lower onto the mat as you draw your right knee towards your right armpit. Press that lower back into the mat, breath in, and breath out. One more. And then bring that left knee in. Hug it with your arms towards the chest. And now stretch out through that right heel. Plant it on the ground or take it all the way. Straightening that leg. Reach and hover. And then when you can't reach any further, lower that heel onto the mat. And then draw that left knee towards the left armpit. Press that lower back down. Breath in. And breath out. And another breath in. And out. And then trying to keep that lower back on the mat. See if you can bring your right knee in. And then both knees towards their respective armpits. And you could keep your heels towards your glutes here. Okay, so it's like a happy baby, but we're not lifting the feet. So it gives us a bit of a better opportunity to plant those shoulder blades on the ground, keep that lower back and sacrum on the mat. Imagine broadening that back body from side to side. So with each exhale, more of that side body comes towards the mat. One more breath in. Breath out. And then release this pose. Bring the feet to the mat. Bring them to the outer edges of the mat. Let your knees rest against one another. And you could bring your hands to your belly, bringing awareness to that breath for a few more, maybe a couple more breaths. Allowing that belly to move towards your hands as you breathe in, and then to move away from your hands as you breathe out. And then choosing to stay in this position if it's one that feels comfortable and that will allow you to soften and rest, or finding one that will feel more comfortable and more restful, whether it's lengthening legs and arms or coming onto your side, or anytime also finding a seat. If you're finding a seat and you have a wall or a piece of furniture nearby that you can lean into, that might also feel nice. And we're going to pause the voluntary actions. We're going to give that doing a rest, a break. And let's try and see what it's like to not do. And letting at this moment the being be enough. And as you might hear sounds around you, so if you can feel a sense of comfort with the world going on around you, but you being able to just stay. Not having to engage, not having to go with it. Just hearing it and still staying in your place, your rest, your being. And then bring your awareness to your next inhale and to your next exhale. And engage that breath and use it to gently move your fingers and your toes. Move your ankles, your wrists. Shift your chin from one shoulder to the other. Move your eyeballs under eyelids. If it feels good, stretch those arms overhead. And then when you're ready, roll onto one side. Take a moment with those knees towards your chest, your arms supporting head. Breathe in and breathe out. And then let's make our way up. We'll meet in a comfortable seat. We'll bring hands to the chest, resting the thumbs and palms touching each other. Fingers, feel those fingerprints pressing into one another. And let's take a moment to here acknowledge the practice. And then to acknowledge ourselves for practicing. And then to acknowledge those who practiced with us today and so many times in the past. And to acknowledge all those that in one way or another make it possible. And as always, we'll end with a word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.